You know, I always forget these sections where we have to use Timmys Bush in order to sneak through. I get it, they want to do some mechanical variety, and this is an okay way to do that. For this section, we just have to trace the outside, basically, of the entire place, and we'll be in before we know it. As long as we aren't squirming around in the bush, we're pretty much invisible while we're inside of it. So, this is... well, I don't know if you can still call it stealth, really, but it's okay, whatever it is. I much prefer the inside of the Chum Bucket, but I understand that they wanted a lot of environmental variety in this game, and being able to see the Chum Bucket from the outside in 3D is nice. Even if it's a little weird to think that Plankton would have this maze leading up to it. Less weird than the underground caverns leading to the Krusty Krab, but still. There's a bunch of thugs circling around the Chum Bucket, which is the easiest place to get caught, but you can just run right in between them. I really love the way the interior of the Chum Bucket looks, a lot more than the other 3D SpongeBob games where you get to see the inside of the Chum Bucket. This one in particular is my favorite just because of how much it looks like what you'd expect the Chum Bucket to look like. Very stark bluish red colors. Everything has weird stapled together feeling to it. The sand floor is a little weird, but I can live with that part. The doors are also enormous, which I don't think Plankton would be okay with, unless he just makes the doors that big to prove that he can open them. Here's a minigame. We just gotta draw the line to this. We just gotta draw the line to the center, like those dumb maze games that you can find online that usually end with a screaming picture of some lady. Except this one doesn't scream at you. Jumping up there isn't hard at all, especially if we use Jimmy. I assume we could use some of the other characters because of how low the platforms are, but with Jimmy this is absolutely nothing. Baby's first 3D platforming kind of stuff, but it's alright. It looks nice. And here's another minigame. I don't like this one as much. This one isn't so bad by itself. We have to circle the jellyfish with our stylus to create a bubble around them so they don't get sucked in the machine. And then when some jellyfish jelly pops by, we have to break it and drop it into the machine. After we put 3 jellyfish jars in the machine, it will be clogged, and then we'll win. This one's not so bad, but they reuse this minigame later for something really evil. You can actually see what they use it for later up there on the graphic at the top screen that they were too lazy to change to match the appropriate minigame. Whatever, it happens. We're about to enter the most infamous part of the game. You might be wondering how a game this unknown can have an infamous bit in it, and you just gotta frustrate people enough. That's my guess anyway, because whenever I hear someone talk about this video game, it's very much always the same thing. They never talk about how cool it is to have a console-style 3D platformer on the DS or anything like that. It's always this next room every time. But hey, here's a chance to show people how to do it, again, since I already uploaded a long play of this some time ago. But now I can do commentary over it, and I'll try very hard not to make fun of anyone who couldn't figure it out, because I can see how children might have issue with it. Plankton flies around the arena in his metal jellyfish robot, and after we hit him, he'll make a tornado to suck us down here, so I just fell down here on purpose. The first time we hit him, we can hit him no problem just by standing in one spot and shooting him with our bubbles. In order to get back up after we fall down the pit, we need some of SpongeBob's bubble power, which the jellyfish drop. Now this time when we get back up here, it won't be as simple as hitting Plankton while standing still. We have to chase him down because he actively runs away from us since he learned from our previous encounter that floating in the middle of the arena is just going to get him hit. And this is the part that everyone seems to have trouble with. They try and shoot Plankton without switching to Timmy to chase him down first. And that always struck me as just a little odd. Timmy's the fast one, that's what he does, he runs faster. So imagining a bunch of children running around the arena as SpongeBob or Danny trying to shoot Plankton and never being able to catch Plankton is kinda sad. I hope no adults had this issue, because while I can understand children having issues solving a puzzle like this is really basic stuff. You have 4 characters, and they all have a set of abilities. One of Timmy's abilities is that he can run faster. Plankton's flying away from you faster than you can catch him as the other characters. Why wouldn't you switch to Timmy? And then switch back to shoot at Plankton. That's all you gotta do. But I've seen so many people say that they almost broke their DS over this boss fight, or that their copy of the game must have been broken because this boss fight was unfinishable, and just all kinds of weird stuff. I didn't think it was that difficult to figure out. I think this is the kind of thing people would make fun of me for if I called it great game design, because it's just really simple thing to switch to a character that goes faster to catch the guy that's running away from you. I don't know, maybe I'm being unfair, but I approach these games, you know, like puzzles, so it was very easy to figure this situation out. And that's all you do. You do that 3 or so times, and then Plankton goes down. For what it's worth, I very much enjoy that Plankton gets his own music, and I don't think this boss fight is bad by any means. It's a lot more dynamic than all the other bosses.